Cinthia, welcome to the podcast. So thrilled to have you here.
Thanks, Gina. I'm also really excited.
I know, I can't wait to talk SEO because this is one of these things that I want to be passionate about. Like I'm really excited because I know it can move the needle for our businesses. It's just kind of foreign to me, right? I'm a true student here and you're the expert. So I can't wait to see what you have to share with us. So first and foremost, where does your passion for SEO come from?
So it was unexpected how I landed in SEO. So I was making sites when I was a teenager, always obsessed with kind of this online experience. And then, fast forward, started my own business. And I realized that small business owners and even small to medium, like they know they need a site, but they don't really know about SEO, right? And it's kind of like building this house in the middle of nowhere and then expecting your clients to find you.
I like that.
Someone,
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone also used an analogy recently that I heard a friend, and she gave me, like, I can use it freely. She's like, it's like building a billboard in the desert, right? It's like, no one's going to find it, right? And so when I was doing my own SEO, my own business, I was like, this is just so much more actionable. And so I pivoted into SEO because I realized, yeah, it's great to have a site, absolutely necessary. But then if you're not marketing it, if you're not having people find it, then it's kind of a waste of money and time and energy and all the things. So that's really where I came across with getting into SEO.
Okay, I love this because I see so many course creators and entrepreneurs spending so much time. I'm sure you do too, right? They're putting out the content every week, they're doing the work, and then they're not promoting it, right? And they're not, like you said, putting the billboard out where people can actually see them and they can market themselves. So I think we've kind of answered this question, but for some people who might be on the fence about really let's do it again. Hi, Rachel. So I think we've answered this question, but just in case, I want you to really tell us why it's so important to course creators to work on your SEO.
Right. So again, if you're going to invest in a site, even if it's like a Wix site, although Wix has a great platform now, by the way,
but
just like,
good. Okay.
yeah,
For SEO.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was talking to someone, another SEO, and they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, they've come a long way. But like, let's say you build a 1-page site, or like, even with that, you want people to find you, right? Like, you have your site because you're sharing it. You want your clients to hire you, right? That's like the dream. But if you can just imagine someone Googling, finding you, and then reaching out to buy from you, or just buying your course directly, like, doesn't that feel so magical, right? So especially with course creation, we want our sites to be attracting those organic searches, especially because the type of person who searches on Google is already kind of ready to buy. I mean, it depends what they're searching for. So there's different types of searches. For example, informational searches are different than transactional searches, but we can capture both. So we can capture people who are aware that they want to learn something through your course, but they're not really ready for a course. And then we can capture the people who are ready to buy, like they're literally searching, like, Pinterest course or content creation course, and, writing for my website course. And you want to show up, right? So why not? Like, why not show up for those people? And the other reason I think SEO is important is because Google, in a way, automatically scans our sites. So you're already kind of in Google's radar. I mean, it depends what your site's about. And actually, Google has gotten pickier over the years, but why not do SEO intentionally, right? So it's kind of the only marketing that's like automatic in that way, where it's like, you have a site, okay, you're going to show up somewhere, but why not just be more intentional about it, just have more powerful results from something that's already there, that you don't need to really start from scratch in a way.
Okay, I love this. And I love that you talk about that there's an audience ready to buy, because I'm sure you get it where, well, I'm active on social, Gina, right? Or I'm doing social ads, right? But to your point, Google Ads, it's a different kind of audience, or they're ready to go versus social.
Yes.
That's what you found, right? Versus other social platforms.
Yeah, like there's nothing really as advanced as Google's search algorithm. Like there are people searching in Instagram or in Pinterest, or, there are other kinds of search engines out there, but Google's is by far the most advanced, and you can just go so much deeper into what people are asking, the nuances of that. And it's your site. So it's your online home, right? So you can give them all sorts of experiences, right? So it's different with Instagram or social media. We're kind of like renting space, but with our site, it's our land, like our online space. So you can literally do, I mean, obviously you want to be careful what you do, but you can blow someone's mind away with your copy, with that experience of that site. And I think that a lot of people just take that for granted. I don't know why. Like it's easier to convince someone to dance for a reel, but it's hard. Like just blog or, create some content around some keywords. It doesn't have to be super complex.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like sometimes I get questions all the time, like, well, how do I grow my Instagram? How do I do this and go live? And I'm like, well, I want you to drive traffic to your site though, because that's exactly what you said, Cinthia. It's what you own. You're not renting it. Facebook could go down. Facebook has gone down, or Instagram or whatever, right? So that's why I love this strategy as well. So listen, I know you could teach us like an intensive course, and we've only got a short time on this podcast, but wondering if you can give us some simple tips for us to get started as course creators in terms of SEO for our websites or our blogs. Where would you have us start?
So the first step I tell everybody is to set up their Google Analytics and their Search Console. And everybody is like, oh no.
It's not like that hard. Homework. I've done it. Yeah, it's not that hard.
It's like the first day of school, right? They give you homework. You're like, no. But honestly, it's not that bad. Like guys, like you just Google. I have a tutorial on my site, on my YouTube, but you can just YouTube Google,
let's link to that. Okay.
Yeah. You can just, there's lots of great guides. It shouldn't take that long. And then if you really are struggling, you can, just reach out to your web developer, your VA, someone a little bit more technical, and just get some help with that. Right. But it just needs to be in place, because we can't track growth if we're not tracking anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And these tools are so powerful. They're so great. They're free, right? They're given to us by Google. And so we need to make use of them. So that's the first step, because once you have that set up, you can start to build a strategy and actually track your progress. And that's the great thing about SEO too, that we can't do in other marketing, is it's like, Instagram data metrics are great, but they're kind of wishy-washy sometimes.
Totally.
While SEO, it's very clear, like someone searched this, they landed on your site, they bought something. It's like, that's the journey, right?
Right. I love it. Okay. So I'm setting up my Google Analytics, or I'm getting my tech savvy VA to do it for me. Okay. What's the next tip that you have for us?
So the next step is to start to become aware of your keywords. So you can use something like the Search Console to look at, what are you ranking in today? And a lot of people will be surprised that they're already actually ranking in something. So maybe you're ranking with your name. Like for me, Cinthia Pacheco, like people search my name because they hear me, or, they hear me on a podcast, or they might search your company, or they might actually start to search for, maybe some terms that are more around what you sell, or what you talk about on your website. And so that's really encouraging, because you're going to start to get excited and see, hey, this is already working. What would happen if I actually put some effort into this? So just that step of like gaining that awareness and starting to get in the habit of looking at this quarterly, monthly, as you do your business planning, getting your VA to look at it. If someone's helping you with your marketing, start to build those rhythms. That's going to change the game of not just taking action, but becoming aware of like what's working versus what's not really something we want to be pursuing, right? In terms of SEO.
Okay. So when we search for keywords, we could just start with some of the keywords that people might search for you. How many keywords would you start with? Like 5?
So I would look at the ones that are working. Like the first step is just detective mode of like, what's working, right? Okay. So what's already, and you can actually take that and then just do it more intentionally. So for example, if someone was searching SEO course for virtual assistants for me, right? Because I have an SEO course.
Okay.
I would then go back to, I would either decide, do I want to create a blog post about that? Do I want to talk about that more? Or do I want to look at maybe incorporating more of those pages, or creating like a paragraph on the sales page of my course sales page that talks about why this course is really helpful for VAs. So that is actually a fantastic and a big step. You don't always have to go out and find new keywords. Yes, eventually you do, but to start, just becoming aware of the ones that are working, and then like looking back and reflecting, are we integrating? Because sometimes you might not really be making the most of it. Maybe you have like a sentence like that talks about that thing that people are searching for, and you're like, okay, why don't we add a paragraph? Why don't we do a whole blog post on this? Why don't we split this blog post into two so they don't, they rank separately? So there you can do a lot from the subset from just seeing like what's already working.
Okay, I love this. So forget what I said before, 5 or whatever. Just maybe start with 1, right? So start with that 1. And then I love what you're saying about embedding it in the content that you already have. So you mentioned blog post. If I have a podcast, do show notes count?
Yes, they have to be, helpful. So remember, it's not just stuffing the keywords that will work against you. And it used to work, right?
A little bit. What does that mean to stuff the keywords?
Stuff in the turkey. So what does that mean? So previously, I would say like maybe 10 years ago, what did work is you just would add words and phrases to your page and Google would just assume that it was helpful. Now it's like come a long way. Google has many different algorithms that actually understand English. They actually understand what people are searching. And they also understand, is that page actually helpful? Yeah. And there's just more more content online. So everything has gotten a little bit more just competitive in a good way. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? So when I look at a client site or a student site and I look at, okay, what can we improve? Like we're looking at actual text on the page. So what's useful, right? So again, if I go back to my example, like SEO course for VAs, someone who's searching for that is obviously looking for an SEO course for VAs. So I have to talk about why this course is helpful to them if it is, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to remember sometimes just because someone is searching for something doesn't necessarily mean like we need to give them exactly what they're looking for. Like sometimes you're redirecting people, right? So it's like, okay, you're searching this, but actually you should be searching this, or you give them that information. So we want to be very valuable and authentic. We're not tricking people. We're not tricking Google. We're just literally helping answer a question, right? So the other things you can look at is, is the information on that page outlined in a clear way? Is the page experience easy to read? Are there headings? Are there, does the font nice and, big, at least 12 pixels? Do we have some images to break out the text? That sort of thing, like page experience can also help a lot. And then, looking at like, could I add a heading with that question? Could I, maybe add an infographic if it's relevant, right? So we're just looking at what is someone expecting when they're landing on this page? How would it be helpful to them? And what content am I giving? Sometimes an infographic isn't relevant, but a video is, or even a short audio. I don't know. So you have to kind of think about your audience and what they would like, what would be helpful for them.
Yeah. So I remember those days where you would just throw a keyword right in the headline, and then you would just repeat it. And it wasn't very intelligent, right? Like it was kind of like just writing against the wall. And now Google's gotten smarter, right? Is my understanding. And you really need to show that value. And then you're mentioning videos, you're mentioning audios, you're mentioning infographics. You get rewarded for that with Google?
So it's not that Google rewards specifically because you add a video. Yeah. What Google sees is like how are visitors interacting with your page versus other pages. So for example, if you have a course about piano, like you teach piano, a video, right, with like, I don't know, the keyboard or whatever, people would find that really helpful, right? Versus if you have a course for accountants, like depends what you're teaching an accountant, but like maybe it's not as visual, right? So in some cases, video would actually maybe not be as useful. So just depends on your audience, depends on, again, do they want text? Like I find sometimes with Google Analytics tutorials, because that's what I search for a lot, a video is actually more cumbersome. I want like text and screenshots, right? So Google doesn't say, oh, it's video, Great. Page
Great.
one. It's like looking at, okay, what are people interacting with?
Okay.
Now Google's actually ranking videos in specific spots. So your video, if you're going to do a video, it can really rank well if it's useful to people. Again, you have to do a little bit of that market research, which if I had a third step to like getting started, that would be like the one that takes the longest is what are your people searching, doing that research and starting to look at that at a higher level can really change the game. But again, start with what you have, start with setting up your Google Analytics and your Search Console, start with getting awareness around what's already ranking. And then down the line, you can start to go deeper of like, okay, what could I target that I haven't been targeting so far?
Okay, I love that. All right, I love that as a third step. And then going back to providing the added value content. So say I've got a podcast right now, or I've got a blog, and I'm putting out consistent content, which we talk about
Right.
all the time on this podcast.
Yes.
So where are the opportunities here? Like the headlines, right? You mentioned headlines. Like, are there particular things we should be looking out for with our headlines, having more subheads, or what's the scoop on that?
Yeah, so I love this idea of recycling and reusing content across platforms. And it's something I teach as well because it takes a lot to create good content, right?
Yes.
So again, what you want to do is I have a podcast as well.
Yes.
And so what I think about is like, what's the version of this for a blog? And so I think about someone listening to a podcast. And so there's two things you can do. You could do like show notes, which is, kind of like a bulleted list of key topics that are covered and then maybe like the timestamp on those.
Mhm.
Or you can go further, transcribe it, and then have a VA or yourself actually sit down and like write the blog version of that and to really think about that experience, right? So you could use the transcription initially and then kind of write it out. Then in terms of formatting, like you were saying, is like, yeah, having helpful headings that like, again, organize the information, maybe add a little bit of a different twist on it or add a little tip or no, because then you can say on the podcast, I've got this information, but I've got an extra tip that you want to tease that because again, you want to send people there intentionally. And yes, that's going to start ranking and it's going to start showing up in Google, but every blog, the blog post that you want to rank, we want to put in that extra, kind of love for it to do that. Now, I think where people get overwhelmed is they want every single thing to rank. And that's not what I recommend at all. I actually recommend finding like a ratio sweet spot of like how much content am I really doing the SEO things like intensely? And then what are we doing like a baseline? Like this is clear, it's easy to read. And I do this for my own, like sometimes we'll have like really simple show notes and then we'll have a more like blog form sort of podcast. And so that takes the pressure off because unless you have a team, like if maybe there's someone listening who's like, I can do that for every podcast, great, do it.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't have that. So instead of all or nothing, like, could we find a middle spot of like once a month, you've got one podcast that's like a little more SEO oomphed, or even once a quarter. Like I really prefer it to be consistent because in the long run, that's going to serve you versus not doing anything. Right. And just waiting to hire someone or someone else to handle it.
Okay, I love this. I love this testing once a month or once a quarter until you can get consistent and maybe you do the longer form. That is a great tip. I was going to ask you, what's the biggest mistakes we make with SEO? Is it that we try to go for too many keywords, that we just go for it?
Yeah, I think people I get it. It's overwhelming because it's not just about the keywords, right? Sometimes it's about making sure your site is technically sound and loading quickly.
Yep.
Then we've got a whole other thing we haven't talked about, which is attracting links from other websites that are, referencing you. So people, I get it. There's a lot going on. And that's why the keywords and content is like the easiest kind of bite to get started with. So yeah, I'd say the biggest mistake is people get freaked out by and they just don't do anything.
And don't do anything, right? Like, oh, it's scary, forget it. Like I stopped at Google Analytics, right?
I promise you it gets easier. Like I've had clients and students who just start with like one blog a month or like one blog every 2 months. Like just keep it as easy as possible. Like I personally, I'm doing one a month. And it doesn't have to be 3,000 words. Like that's the other big myth is like, it needs to be this huge Bible. It's like, no, it can actually be 500 to 1,000 words. Write useful content. You don't have to reach word limit. It's not like Google's like, oh, they've only written 300 words. It's not useful. Like focus on the value of the content and what's actually on the page versus the word count. And then do it consistently for 3 to 6 months and track your results, and you'll be surprised. Because once you start seeing those results, it kind of gets addictive. Like you want to do it
you
more,
want more.
right?
You want more. Okay, I love this idea of just starting small, or it doesn't have to be 30,000 words, because I know,
Totally.
and I'm in awe. I'm not one of those writers who, I have clients and students who can
There's
just
some
write
there.
it, right? They can just
Yeah.
like write a book at a setting.
Exactly.
That's harder for me.
Yes.
So it's great to hear 500 to 1,000 words. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I have clients too. Now, those type of people, you need to like break out content. So if you're one of those who like has so much to give, I mean, maybe some of that content needs to go back into your course and be paid. That's also
Maybe.
another conversation.
Yeah, I love
But
that.
for the free stuff, like, could you break it out? Because yes, sometimes we're writing 5,000 word guide, insane, crazy thing. But I mean, the other thing is we think about our experience online. A lot of people are skimming, depending on your audience, something 5,000, even 3,000 words. It's a lot, you know, and they're going to scroll and scroll and scroll and be like, this
Yeah.
never ends. And then they're going to leave. Right. So
Right.
I think we're kind of addicted. We're in an era where short form is kind of trending. So we want to think about those short, like skimmable content, right? And then if we're going in depth, it's still engaging, right? So we're breaking it out with images, we're breaking it out with headings and white space on the page. Because even with something that's in depth, people are still taking breaks, going away, coming back. And that's totally okay. So yeah, I hear you both sides. I'm like you. I struggle with kind of sitting down, but you'd be surprised how much you can do. Just like writing for like 25 minutes, you might be able to break out like 1,000 words, maybe.
I like, you can give me any topic and I'll come up with content like on the spot. I am just like really pithy. I that's like my Achilles heel, I guess. I'm like, get to the point, right? That's kind of who I am. Okay, I've got like an elephant in the room question. So I love these tips. Is SEO a kind of thing where you should hire it out? Like and I know it's kind of a tricky question here because we want to support, right? Want people to try it out. But what do you think about that?
I think it depends where you are in your journey. And I think it depends, obviously, you know, there's people who start their businesses and have the budget for a team. Hey,
Yeah.
if you can do that, why not? Because you're gonna, unless you want to learn, again, there's some people who are like, I really want to learn this for myself.
Right.
But I think, so just kind of like going beyond your question, I think a lot of people avoid it because they think it'll be better when they go out and hire it. And I think that's not the solution either. Like, I think there's ways to get started. It's kind of like, I compare SEO like finances. Like sometimes learning how to do our business finances is really uncomfortable at the beginning, but there's no other way around it, right? Like you have to, like, I never went to business school. I never like learned economy. I sucked at numbers, and I'm an SEO expert, but yeah, I like sucked at the numbers. And I had to learn that because I'm running a business. Like I need to know my numbers, right?
Right.
Now, do I want to become an accountant? No, like, no. But if I could learn, like if I could give someone a tip, like learning the basics of SEO will help you hire better. It will help you just make better decisions in that realm. And then you can hire an expert who will do it better and get you results faster. So I think there's like a middle ground, but of course it just depends. Like there's some people who just really do enjoy it, or they've got other business kind of dreams. And so they know learning this skill will help them with that. So there's no right answer. You just have to find the sweet spot for you.
Well, I agree with you that I always like to say, know enough about your business to get on the edge of getting in trouble. So email marketing, right? Like there's way better experts, but I know just enough in ActiveCampaign to get myself in trouble. So, but I think that's important, right? And my team knows it too. But I think that's important because that's part of running your business, right? And having that foundation, or if something breaks or if something goes awry, like I want to at least be aware and understand what's happening. So, and I think the same thing about SEO. Know enough.
Yeah, because you need to, if you hire an SEO expert, you need to know that they're going to, I don't know, I think you can get, you can end this dream mode of like, someone's just going to fix it for me. I've had that too, of like, I'm just going to hire this out. It's kind of like a problem that you're cutting out of your life. And it's like, no, like, that's not a good mindset. What if you did know the foundations of it, or just enough, like you said? And then when you do have that interview with someone, you're asking them right questions, you're asking them to see their campaigns, and you've opened up your Google Analytics at least a few times to make sure they're showing you a useful report, right?
Right.
So that sort of thing, I think, as a business owner, and I think you should be interested in this too, because hey, like this thought of someone finding you on Google and you being able to help them, like, isn't that great? I don't know. I just find it so
exciting when when I've been ranking or someone says, oh, I searched for you on Google, like it just lights me up. I love it. Right. Because, well, and I've done some efforts, so maybe we'll do a different podcast on that later, but no, I get excited about that. So I totally get it. All right. I know we could go deeper, and let's have you back and you could talk about the link backs and everything, Cinthia. So in the meanwhile, where can we learn more about you and those great tutorials for SEO?
Yeah. So if you go to my site, digitalbloomiq.com, there's a blog section and a podcast section, and they both have all sorts of resources. I have a keyword guide if you want to get started with keyword research. Great. And I also have a 90-day SEO plan webinar series, which is digitalbloomiq.com/90 day SEO plan. I can send you the link as well.
Yeah.
And that's a great resource to get started, because I teach you how to plan 90 days of SEO. It's very much focused on keyword research. And it's really simple, right? So it's for anybody, whether you're kind of a techie or not, but you're just wanting to dive into this SEO world and you're feeling like there's too much information out there and you just need a plan, right? So that's a great resource to get started with.
Okay. I love that, because my folks always come to me like, how do I list build? How do I build my audience, right? Without spending a ton of money. Well, SEO, if you spend some time and some energy, that could be an answer for you, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
We want you list building. We want you building up your audience. Is a great way to do it. Thank you so much for coming by, Cinthia. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.